Whoa, hello, MouseHunt. Welcome to Feedback Friday on September 7, 2018. How's everybody in the chat doing here? It's a little tense in the chat. Hello, everyone. Hello. Nico, Zaram Gregorok, that's a mouthful. Stejan, John, KDM, Eric, Aries, Red, Dennis, Peter. Hello, everyone. Well, today is all about scavenger hunts. We're going to get some feedback on the recently released Scavenger Hunt maps. Since the start of Season 6, we've been keeping our eye on player suggestions, feedback, collecting lots of feedback. Yesterday, we removed a few items from appearing on scavenger maps. It's worth noting that those items will not appear on future scavenger maps. But if they're on your map right now, they'll still be there. Now, Michelle generously volunteered to manually remove some of those as well. So I'll go over a list here, and if those items are still on your map, you can contact us via support, probably under the other category, and just drop us a line with a little bit of patience because it might take a little bit of time. Michelle volunteered to manually remove that from your map, which is generous of her. So the items we removed, in case you missed the Facebook fan page, is Brie Potion, Rancid Radioactive Blue Potion, Dole Essence, the Ultimate Power Charm, the Hourglass of Time, up to 5 here, Ultimate Luck Charm, Ultimate Lucky Power Charm, and the Super Cactus Charm, for, if I am counting my fingers correctly, as 8 items were removed. Also had a lot of comments on that post as well. Another popular suggestion was the Empowered Anchoring Charm. So actually this morning went ahead and removed those as well. Sync that up as well. Apologies, my oversight. I forgot to remove those from the Gilded maps yesterday, so I did that first thing this morning, a few hours ago. So the Gilded maps are synced up with the regular scavenger maps, and those items will not appear on future ones. So the next feedback we're looking for is, what other items would you like to see tweaked or removed from scavenger maps? Some items we're currently considering are, I mentioned the Empowered Anchoring Charm. We went ahead and took that one off. Greater Radioactive Blue Potion, Silver Bolts, Brined Curd, Magmatic Crystal Charm, Moon Cheese, really shiny Precious Gold, Time Sand, and Corrupted Radioactive Blue Potion. And we're looking for what other items hunters may suggest to be removed or tweaked. Kind of a little bit of backstory, backstory might not be the right word, explanation of how the scavenger maps decide what items are. Basically, we took a huge list of items, divided them into 3 categories, kind of Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. The Tier 1 items are all relatively easy to find. Usually you don't need to use any crafted cheese, so if I can use Froma as a model here, that would be like your student tokens. You can arm Gouda, Super Brie, Mackie, and you'll get one in a reasonable amount of time. Tier 2 items are kind of like the master shards in Froma. You have to use a crafted cheese, so there's kind of a couple steps taken to find that item. Their drop rates might not be quite as high either. And Tier 3 would be like onyx stones and things that the Dojo Sensei would drop. You have to go through 2 or more tiers of crafted cheese to get to things like boss drops or really, more harder, more difficult to find items. We divided those up into 3 tiers, so that's another option as well. If there's an item that thinks maybe it needs to be in the higher tier, that means it's less likely to get picked. So when the scavenger maps are putting together the list of items, it picks so many Tier 1, so many Tier 2, and so many Tier 3. And generally it picks a lot of Tier 1, fewer Tier 2, and very few Tier 3. Please, people, please put away your torches. Stick a mysterious pot of gold on them and be done, suggests Michelle. When will the scavenger hunt begin, and also Halloween event? Well, the scavenger hunts are live. The Halloween event will be in October. So there's still plenty of time before Halloween kicks off. I think any Minotaur trap loot should be removed, says Matthew. So right now the only one is the really shiny Precious Gold, at least specifically Minotaur loot. I would say don't remove, or I'd say remove Magmatics. There's a clear path towards getting them, and also too random. Certainly the easier way to get them is in Queso Canyon, hunting Nachos, the Molten. Nico's response: I retract my statement. Michelle is awesome after she suggested the pot of gold. I mean, difficulty speaking here. I almost said difficulty speaking. 500 friends list doesn't load properly all the time. Get in contact with us through support. That'll kind of help us find your account, get the details we need for any issues you're experiencing. Having trouble with moon cheese. What's the best way to get it? That is a good question. That might be something to open up in another tab here as well. Corrupted is perfectly fine to leave in, says Jason. Add them all back. Scavengers are too easy as is. Good to know. It was interesting. We struggled a bit during testing because inherently the scavenger maps, to the majority of people anyway, it seems they feel a little trickier. And I think because it's not as clear the path forward, you need to kind of rely a little bit more on your game knowledge, or you have to go to the wiki, look things up. So that just makes them feel a little trickier, even if they take about the same amount of time to finish as a map. And with that in mind, that's kind of where we found that middle ground. As it was a suggestion from one of our testers to make all the maps have just one more hunter can help you out on them. So even if they take up similar amount of time to finish, because they feel a little trickier, that kind of helped anyway during testing to make them feel like, okay, there's a reason why I might do a scavenger map, or there's a reason why I might do a regular map, and it might fit the role of if you have 5 other people to invite and they're all really keen on scavenger maps, you can go a little quicker, but they're slightly more challenging. Jonathan said, don't remove magmatics. Silver bolts are iffy, I think. Increasing the reward map instead of focusing on removing pesky items. We'll remain open to that as well. We were brainstorming how to have a little bonus reward for doing scavenger hunts. That said, I don't think the end goal is to basically make the regular maps feel like no point in doing those. Scavengers are just way better. More kind of a variety thing where they might appeal to different types of hunters. Any plans to add environments for scavenger hunts? Not currently. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a technical obstacle that it would be almost insurmountable to get the game to tell you or give you hints about where you can find the items, or even to say, hey, you're in an area where you can't possibly loot anything. At least for the time being, we don't really have the technical capability to add that to the interface. Hourglass is a strange one, since you can already have it and be forced to restart your run, but I guess 6 people on your map once you get one easily. That's kind of why we removed the hourglass. It was a little bit awkward, and it felt, unlike a Minotaur loot or something, or not Minotaur loot, like a Zokor District Leader loot, something that is a little time-gated, right? You have to do a run, you can only get one every so often. But I think that perceptually the difference is then at least you have that valuable resource in your inventory, you can put it to use a little bit later. Whereas an hourglass, if you go to your way to get it and then you kind of like trash your run to go and get another one, it feels like you're back at square one. So it was a little bit of an awkward item. There were more than enough items to create variety at that tier, so that's why we just kind of opted, if it's a little weird, take it out. Onyx Stone isn't the same difficulty as RSPG. Certainly as well. Yeah, that kind of factored into as well where we plot them. The higher level ones may have access to slightly trickier ones, but the chests are also better. Greater radioactive blue potions make it easy maps. I was looking up moon cheese, actually. That's what I was doing here. The old loot per day lookup. That works for most items in the game. We got moon cheese. That's not right. Yeah, let's look up moon cheese. So moon cheese, Mausu Picchu, and the Queso Quarry. You have Fulmina and Nachos. Nachos is a way better way to go. Realistically, that is the only way to loot moon cheese. Greater radioactive blue potions make easy maps quite tedious. Let's double check that as well. Greater radioactive blue potion. You definitely want to be in the lab hunting monsters, I think. Well, not definitely. The vampire drops them as well. About a 10%, 10-11%, and the monster has a decent attraction rate, especially if you use some of the improved versions of radioactive blue. Ultimate Power Charm, very doable. Yeah, we kind of, just for consistency, I guess. Again, there was enough variety. We ended up removing all these sort of ultimate tier charms, and just as we go forward to as new areas come out, if there's kind of different ways of getting them, that might help with the consistency if we remove one of them to take them all out. There's certainly a huge pool of items still in that tier. Null Onyx Stone is easy, guaranteed drop. Yeah, I think the difference, there are some different feeling items. One's like, if I can use the term, time gated. Like you need to go through a bunch of steps, and when you complete it, you have to go through them all again. Whereas something like the Onyx Stone, you can churn up a huge amounts of cheese, and then like, cool, I got 50 pieces, I'm good. Anytime I need that item, I'll arm that cheese. A few hunts later, I'll have the item I need. So it's also a factor as well. Could create Scavenger Slayer maps. That came up during testing as well. We're going to wait for feedback. That might be a next season feature if they prove to be popular. It's tricky though, because some of the items are certainly frustratingly difficult to go after rather than just take a long time to obtain. Nachos cheese is harder to get though, Dave. It's true, yeah. You'd have more opportunities at full Mina versus the amount of effort it takes to craft the nachos cheese, the flaming. Does he read the comments here? Yes, I do, J. Rodax, to the best of my abilities. My own issue are items that are dropped by a boss that's hard to get Minotaur or waiting for full Mina. Yeah, that kind of goes back to things that are just literally, after you loot them, you need to do some more hunts before you get the opportunity to loot them again, versus ones where you can stockpile cheese. So it might be, good to keep it a little lighter anyway on the ones that are time-gated. That said, regular maps have those time-gated mice. But another factor, of course, if it's not 100% loot drop from that mouse, that kind of doubles down and makes it exponentially more difficult. The only thing I really hate about update is my cheeses, traps, and charms are all mixed up. You can write in if something weird is happening. Contact us. A screenshot helps a lot as well, if you can attach a screenshot to your support ticket. Will there be event-themed scavenger maps? We're contemplating it. That's why we kept the different categories of maps, the tabs. You can be on a regular map / scavenger hunt, an event map / scavenger hunt, and a wanted poster if we do end up doing scavenger maps for events. That said, it might be a little bit tricky. They might end up being a hybrid where you have to capture this many mice and loot this many items. Just for an event, sometimes there aren't enough items to do a whole scavenger hunt. So we'll see. It will open to feedback and suggestions. The radioactive sludge loot drop was difficult. All right, I'll add that to the list of considering for removal here. Radioactive sludge, and let's go see. Let me double check how you get that. Woo. Radioactive blue cheese? No. Sludge. Sludge. Toxic spill. Otherwise, you're using Undead Emmental. Yeah, that can be a little tricky. I'll add that to the maybe list. Ooh, let me find this. Ooh, this spreadsheet's needs a bigger window. All right, radioactive sludge. Where are you? Find radioactive sludge. I'll mark that for considering for removal as well. You can let me know what you think of that. Oh, too far. Where am I? Just make the rewards for scavengers better than regular maps. That's another option as well. Kind of open to suggestion there. I think we're going to try to just tweak the difficulty a little bit first to see if we can get them in line where it feels like a different variety of map. Like I said, I don't think the end goal is to make regular maps obsolete and make the scavenger maps so rewarding, and it's just an obvious, of course, why would you waste your time doing regular maps? I think the goal for them is a little bit more variety and to appeal to different types of players. Where some players looking for a little bit more teamwork and a slightly bigger challenge will prefer scavenger maps, whereas players with looking for a little less teamwork and something a little bit more straightforward will enjoy the regular maps. And of course, the area-specific maps will always be kind of popular when you really want to focus your effort in and get very specific rewards. I started MouseHunt in 2009 and kept playing for about 3 years. Recently started clutching again. Welcome back, J. Rodax. Reward should be increased somewhat. Nothing crazy, a small boost. Okay, we'll keep that feedback coming. That's certainly, like I said, I think we're going to try tweaking the items at first, but we're still open to giving them their own little small unique reward, even if it's maybe a few bonus King's credits for doing scavenger hunts. The difficulty of scavengers will always be higher no matter what you remove. That's kind of, again, that came up during testing. I agree, even if it's somewhat perception based. It's just when you work on a scavenger map, you can kind of feel the gears turning a little bit more. You got to kind of think about, oh, where do I go to loot that item? I got radioactive sludge easy. Mega rainbow scavenger map, collect everything. That could be a neat idea as well. Maybe next King's giveaway. It's kind of good to start small like this. We can get a lot of feedback, help us craft future scavenger maps. Map completed notification on mobile. I thought there was one. I can jot that one down. Ooh, I got too many notepads open. I'll write that down. Does notification. Something broke there. We did recently touch notifications. Kevin's messaged me. We're working on an Android thing. I think I just broke his environment, so that's fun. I'll just hide in here till he fixes it, and I don't have to do it. Don't tell him. I agree with taking out radioactive sludge. Will Oasis beat Sphinx Crystal Sandblast? No, we did not put any of the Warmonger loot. Those are definitely far too rare to reliably try and obtain. Maybe on a map where there was a consolation prize, we could put crazy items like that. That might be something. If we do a sort of Slayer level difficulty map, it may need consolation, because it is quite possible a team could be trying for months and never finish it. So I don't know if that sounds too fun. When can we add hunters without going to friends list? You can do that. They need to allow anyone to send them an invite. And then when they do that, you can go to their hunter profile and you can invite them to your map from there. So you no longer need to be friends to invite people to maps, but they need to basically say, or they need to opt in to receiving invites from strangers, if I can call people not on your friends list that. The default setting is to not allow invites from people who aren't on your friends list, so they need to opt in. Sally agrees with radioactive sludge. Oh, Ryan says, need a bit more rewards. The loot drops aren't guaranteed. Dave, where did you land on using gold or credits to remove items from maps? We ended up kind of not going ahead with that. We were kind of prototyping a little bit, open to player feedback and suggestions, but the feedback was a little bit mixed on any sort of ability to remove a mouse or an item from a map, whether it was using ancient relics, King's credits, or gold or something like that. Certain maps kind of felt weird, like the Shelter map felt pretty weird. If you could remove the Shelter from it, all of a sudden it didn't feel like a special map anymore. But no sharing dust cost that way, I assume, for inviting other people to your maps. We are working, it's in the pipeline, to remove the restriction on sending supplies as well, so you'll be able to go to someone's hunter profile and send people not on your friends list supplies as well, but they haven't quite got around to that yet. Nice things with difficulty, people opt in, make absurd scrolls with absurd rewards. Yeah, I think that worked well for Slayers. We were able to find a reward that made sense for the level of difficulty, and I think it's when you make the choice, like, cool, I'm jumping in this pool and it's really deep and I'm going to have to swim really far, then I think you're okay because you're expecting that level of difficulty, whereas the other ones, maybe the expectation is they shouldn't be quite as hard as they are. So we're just trying to pull them back, make them a little bit more in line with where the regular maps are. Why aren't the locations with no clue mice left grayed out anymore in the environment tab? I believe that was fixed. There's also an issue where inactive environments would show up, so there'd be you can't find this item in Ronza's shop because she's not currently here, and we filtered out the inactive environments. I think like the vacant lot would show up as well. Maybe just one option to delete one loot item from a map. Yeah, maybe the scavenger hunts, they could make more sense to have that ability. That's an interesting suggestion as well. Read out this list again of items we're considering. The radioactive sludge seemed to get good feedback. So radioactive sludge looks like that's something we can remove. The empowered anchoring charm, we've already removed it. I agree. That's after kind of double checking that. Definitely tricky. If anything, it could have been a tier 3 item. The amount of jet charms, you need to basically you need to find haunted shipwrecks and then really hope for the best to find one. I think it's about 5% drop from a pirate, shipwreck pirate, I think it's called. Greater radioactive blue potion. What do people in the chat think about those being on scavenger hunts? Stale Super Brie, another suggestion there from Matt. That does exist on the maps. I don't think that's too hard to get. I believe Cape Claude. Let me double check. Drop chance 100% from an aged mouse. So if you just go to Cape Claude and use some crunchy cheese, I think Stale Super Brie is fairly straightforward to get. That said, I think that is in the tier 2 item because you need to make a crafted cheese and hunt for it. But other than that, you could go to the toxic spill to try to obtain it. The bog beast drops it 50% of the time. But yeah, the aged mouse is the way to go there. Silver bolts maybe should be removed. KDM says, please never remove RRSPG gold. We went back and forth quite a bit during testing. And I think it was the neat feeling of when you get a temporal shadow plate and you're like, I didn't get gold. But yeah, certainly if you miss it, if you don't get gold, it's going to take a while to get back to the Minotaur. I think it's only on the arduous and the elaborate maps that it appears. Off the top of my head, though. I think it's on the higher level ones. How rare is Greater Radioactive Blue Potion? All right, Greater Radioactive Blue Potion. It is an 11% chance to obtain from a monster mouse. In the catacombs or in the laboratory, it's 10%. So yeah, about 10% chance from the monster and the vampire as well. You could hunt vampires for that. The monster is not too difficult to attract. Double check the monster. I think it's pretty high if you use some of the radioactive blue cheese. Monster mouse. Monster mouse. We did the mouse. If you use magical radioactive blue cheese in the laboratory, the monster has a 48% encounter rate. So what do we got? 0.48 times 0.1. So every hunt you have a 5% chance of finding it. Well, 0.048. Or 4.8% chance. So about 20 hunts in the lab should get you one of those potions. That that said, with a 5%, you could get unlucky. It could, it wouldn't be unreasonable to go 40, 50 hunts without getting one. Five 5% every hunt is fine, in Matthew's opinion, he says there. Interestingly enough, throughout the years, we've noticed 5% is this kind of magical number. I think the Scrooge mouse of years and years ago is kind of what started to highlight this, but we've noticed if a mouse is about a 5% encounter rate, that's when it starts to feel rare. And around 2%, that's when we notice it gets to be kind of frustratingly rare. So we've always kept that in mind. So it might be fair enough to say you only have a 5% chance to find that item on every hunt. Maybe it needs to go up. I think it's a tier 1 item. It may need to move up to a tier 2 item, especially considering it appears on some of the lower level scavenger hunts where you might not have some of that upgraded radioactive blue at your disposal. That's not too bad, says Jason. Yeah, maybe we'll make a note. Maybe just bump it up. Also, yesterday as well, we excuse me, we also sort of tweaked how many, like I said, there's these tier 1, 2, and 3 items. Brought it more in line with the regular maps, because regular maps work the same. There's sort of tier 1, 2, and 3 mice, so now they match exactly, whereas before, because there was one more hunter on the Scavenger Hunt maps, there was a few more tier 3 and quite a few more tier 2, and not as many tier 1 items when you compare them to the mice on regular maps. We synced all that up. So I think, for example, a medium map will only have one boss mouse on it. So now the medium Scavenger Hunt will only have one sort of boss loot drop on it. So it should bring them more in line of difficulty with regular maps. Is Black Widow a 2% mouse? I'm pretty sure it's under 2%. Let me double check. There might be one spot where it's 2.5. I think Ronza is the highest. Black Widow. 3% in Ronza's traveling shop, and a 2% in the laboratory with magical radioactive blue cheese. Other than that, it's all 1% below. So it's a good example of sort of those, anything under 2% starts to feel extremely rare. And you've noticed 5% is where it starts to feel difficult. And I think because you can go days on end without seeing that happen. If you're doing 50 hunts a day, which a lot of players do, and you have a 1 in 20 shot of doing something, it's not absurd to go 50, 60 hunts in a row without seeing it. So you might go a day or two, and that's probably why it feels a little more tricky. So the Silver Bolt, saw some feedback that maybe the Silver Bolt can go. This one's weird, Brined Curd. Let's check out Brined Curd. So you're definitely in the Sunken City. Oh no, and I can't easily even look up the Brined Curd. 0.5% for Black Widow. Yeah, in some areas it's under 1%, for sure. 1% though, whereas a King's Arms has a 1%, Laboratory 1%, the Mountain, then after that you're getting under 1%, the Harbor's 0.9%. The lowest of the low is the radioactive blue cheese in the laboratory catacombs in Forbidden Grove. You have a 1 in 1,000 chance of encountering a Black Widow. That's next to nothing. Silver bolts are fine. Says, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm deeming that not pronounceable. At least for me. Stesian's laptop crash. Is it correct that Onyx Stone is the same difficulty as a RSPG? Because that's weird. Yes, it is right now. There's kind of a mix. So I mean, we could potentially. There's an argument to be made of adding like the tier 4 items. But we wouldn't want them to appear on every single map. So there's a chance that it shows up. You may want to trash the map and open up another one. So there's some difficulties because we'd almost want only a chance for those tier 4 items to appear. And so some of those we've reserved for put them as a tier 3 item, but in the more difficult maps that have bigger rewards. Hourglass of Time is a pain. That one was removed yesterday, so going forward it won't appear on maps. In our map we have all 3 Zokor District boss loot. That will be toned down. That will be much less likely to happen now on future scavenger maps because we've reduced the number of sort of tier 3 boss drop items that would appear on a scavenger map. So it'd be uncommon now for all 3 of those to appear. Nico says it's obviously pronounced to type it out like that. Why is the loot from the Black Widow base so meh? Well, open to suggestions there if you think it needs a little bit of a buff. But basically she drops Super Brie, and so when you capture her with that base, she drops a little bit more, a few more premium items. Also another way to get Shadow Charms as well. No Super Brie Plus, so that's another, yeah, we can add that to the list. Should Super Brie Plus be removed? Where's the best place to loot Super Brie Plus? Black Widow's your way to go there. or the Spice Sorcerer as well. Other than that, yeah, you have to get a Black Widow or a Spice Sorcerer. Which, that's Queen... No, that's not Queen Quesada. What did we name that mouse? I'm looking at these sort of identifier strings for this. I don't think that mouse is called that. It's Inferno, I believe. Spice Sorceress. Inferno the Engulfed, yes. We were originally called the Spice Sorcerer. She has a 20% chance to drop it. So if you catch 5, you should get it. Otherwise, luck's not on your side. Super B Plus could be a tier 3 loot. Yeah, I could see that as well. Let me add that to the list. Why doesn't the Feroma base have the Rift Stalker set bonus? It's just a Super Brie might be iffy because of the birthday aura, though. Alright, I tried restarting the stream, and now I have much better signal. I don't know, my upload was cutting out there. Change my quality. I think I have it fairly low already. Once I forgot to turn it down. One time when I was streaming from home, I turned it up. Because my internet's better at home than the office. Seems to be better now, though. I got a green light instead of a red one with a cross through it, which I assume meant the stream was cutting out. So Brined Curd, I got to double check that one. I'll leave that on the list. Also, I'll put this as part of my summary as well and get some more feedback from everybody. The Magmatic Crystal Charm, not sure is the way to go there. Double checking, I'm kind of leaning toward, let me know what you think. That was in Queso Quarry, right? Yeah, it's kind of from Fulmina. Maybe drop it down to 480 now. Maybe somebody just uploaded a big file. Just pop it to black and white. Let me. All right, restart it again. I'm in glorious 480p now. Oh yeah, it's already starting to cut out again, and see you later. Well, on that note, we should try to wrap things up, maybe. Apparently can't spell cooperate. Cooperate. In the end, but I tried my best. Did not help. Yep, still says it's cutting out. It'll be interesting to see. All right, well, we better wrap things up here. Because the internet is telling me that we're not allowed to stream here. All right. I am now in 240. I am now pixels. I am now pixels. MouseHunt teaches patience again. All right, this week's trivia question. I'm going to put it in the chat. Apparently, I am also now Typo Man. I think I probably need to get lunch. I can feel the blood sugar draining down. This week's trivia question is, what is the highest level area that the Relic Hunter mouse can appear? And the very first person to answer, Stejan, gets the correct answer of Mousu Pichu. Michelle, a close second with the Meadow. It's also a high-level area where you can get the Relic Hunter. Mousu Pichu is correct. Reward link. Let's see if I can get it to appear where it says scavenger maps. I think I have the power to do so. Yeah, there we go. Whoa. Let me take that out. Whoa, it's still big. Still pretty big. All right. Hey, what's going on here? Zoot. Let's move that scroll down. And the reward link is in the chat as well. Some delicious, shiny, gilded charms await you on the other end of that link. Which says nice with 3 E's or 4 E's. That's nice. Oh, the stream's loving it now. I just always have to stream in glorious 240p. It's like golf, the lower score is better, right? Probably not. Can we maybe have dual locations with so many of them in the game? That's a big change, though. That would be interesting if you get more than one trap out. Yeah.
Is this coming?
I think I heard the door. Just wrapping up. The internet is deciding to.
Yeah, it took us a few minutes to put a file.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
I don't know if somebody was uploading something, but
Maybe.
let's do a little speed test.
Hello.
Ooh. Oh.
Less than half. What? Oh, that's interesting.
20 megabit per second. That's hurt.
Jolt. One at a time.
It's supposed to be 60.
Supposed to
In
be
this
45.
In this 45.
Not enough for an office
Yeah.
of 30, 40 developers who are constantly.
It's almost like this building is like 125 years old or something, and the infrastructure is struggling.
Whoa. Hello. Oh yes, I did get my ancient. Wait, what was it called? Not ancient box. The base. Was it ancient
The clockwork base.
Thank you, Franco.
From the Absolute Afterlife?
No, the season 5 limited edition.
Oh, the ancient
relic
booster
hunter.
base.
Ancient booster base. That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, it was like a couple
Can I
weeks, and I was
borrow
like,
these?
oh, I don't have a single relic hunter
Yes.
chest.
Double glasses.
Double glasses. But yes, I did get it.
Oh, I
Thank
can
you to
still
those
see.
hunters who pulled together to
your
help me out.
prescription's worse than mine, or better than mine, so it doesn't affect
For
my
better or
health.
worse.
Just like, what?
Pixel
What's
farts.
going on?
I don't know what that means. So, how's it going?
Better now in 240p.
240p. Oh, you turned down the required quality levels?
Yep. It's cutting out. What are your thoughts on these items here? Maybe we'll wrap up with dev thoughts.
Diff thoughts.
So the rocket launches tomorrow.
The
Hope
rocket
you're all ready to
launch?
get on board.
What? Franco's lying.
I already removed that one this morning.
Actually, I read
very
that.
popular.
Don't we have
In
an
response-
empowerment charm? Oh, it's for the scavenger
Yeah,
hunt.
remove
Franco
the
tips.
Like,
All
new
over the
items.
place. I saw on Reddit someone posted your post about the items that were being removed, and then some of the comments were like, "Well, with this and this and this," and so I'm glad that they came and they mentioned it here, the feedback. Yeah, because they're like the greater radioactive, tougher. The empowered is pretty tough. Though some mentioned that the dole they didn't mind too much, and at least in that thread. So yeah, it's give and take. And they even mentioned, someone said the Minotaur loot is tough because it's not always guaranteed, but you have a course of action to obtaining it. And there's and whatever you end up getting, you're kind of okay with it. Whereas the hourless time was kind of like, I'm getting this thing that just gets destroyed. It feels like a waste.
Yeah, you're kind of going out of your way for nothing.
Mm-hmm. So these are the new items of takeaway potentially.
Yes.
Silver bolt's not bad. That's a common enough item.
Yeah, you might have to capture a few monster of the meteor, but you could go a couple runs in Dawn and not see one. Which might be a little come on.
But it's nice because you get to capture them multiple times. And it doesn't take too long. It takes you start a Dawn run, and you can use your tower if you have any mana or not, whatever. But you just start and you get there. Whereas with the Minotaur, you got to collect this, put it together, make the key, make sure all the clues are ready to go, and then you get one catch and it's out. So that feels a little more painful.
Yeah.
So I'm on the fence about the Silver Bolt.
You'd be hard pressed to go 2 Minotaur runs in a row though and not get a gold. And if you
True.
and if you didn't, you'd be like, well,
You'd be okay with it because you have millions of gold on the marketplace instead. Yeah. But yeah, moon cheese is tough because it's got to be dropped, which is generally the best way to do it is just make it yourself with with magic essence. Yeah. But yeah, with RSP, that's a good point. Like you're probably gonna get it every time, and if you don't, you're also okay with that. But it is frustrating if you're just trying to get the map done at the same time.
We had that same discussion during testing as well. So.
Time sand, that's not terrible because it's once you have the glass. But then again, why not have the hourglass as well? Because you need the hourglass to get time sand.
But at least you could pop in, get on sand, go back.
You can just
you gotta waste your
That's
acolyte
true.
run.
That's true. In order to get the next hourglass, you got to waste the run and then get it again. Whereas someone can just be like, I always have an hourglass ready to go. I'll never beat the acolyte. I'll just collect the time sand. Yeah. But I'm like 100% on some of these items, on the fence for some others, and then like maybe one or two, no. But
no.
The magmatic crystal charm, yes, I don't think I've ever gotten one myself.
Well, with nachos now, it's a little easier to obtain, but you need flaming cheese. So really, you're just putting your time somewhere else. That's a little less frustrating to try to make flaming cheese than like, please.
Still need to get. I don't have that egg yet. The magmatic crystal egg.
This next year might be the year then. Go if you hunt nachos.
That's true. Well, I'm collecting flaming spice leaves right now, and they're in the hundreds. So I think I'll be able to get
the pump some queso.
I do have to pump some queso still, but that's okay. I've been pumping queso like crazy. It's my style of area. I like to just sit and just like grind it out for a little while.
Stockpile.
Yes.
To the max.
I've been annoying the chat. Hello, everyone.
Well, we got to wrap things up anyway.
Or did you give us some little scrolls?
No, gilded charms. That's probably just in general things for the scavenger.
Oh, just that they exist. Yeah, it was fun.
That could have been a cool trivia reward though. One free
give out a scroll
scavenger map for everybody. All right, well, thanks for joining us, hunters. We'll next week, actually, I should have probably said this right off the bat, there will not be a Feedback Friday next week, so we'll put that up in the ticker as well. I have to remember to disable those banners.
No,
we can disable them
to the to-do list.
We can disable them like today so that they're just out of the way next week.
We'll do a new feature, Ask the Acolyte. We'll put a camera right on here, and if he chooses your question, he'll telepathically communicate the answer to you.
So only you know that it's true. And
so we'll just leave him out here. Yeah, we'll leave him out here for like an hour on the thing.
But then how about, what about a session with Sessions?
Yeah.
Session with Sessions.
She'll leave.
Alright. Thanks for joining us.
She'll leave the show.
Button. There we go.
Gee.
Alright, thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend. Happy hunting. Yeah.